Hi, baseball fans. We welcome you back to another episode of the actual version of this podcast that everybody is looking forward to every year. We're not a football show. We're not a basketball show. We're a baseball show. And we are here to, first off, before we go any further, say that thank you. This season's wardrobe is provided by Ryan Manson, the head coach at Sage Creek. We want to remind you a little Sage Creek in the big time. The defending champs. Bunted. Wait. Let's cut to Dave. Dave Ring was showing up. His hat. That's Dave Ring on the right. DR hitting. Bodie DeSilva on the left at SBLive Sports is his main job that he works. He also can be found at SD Preps. We got a lot to talk about.
It's opening day.
We are what? Do we call this 2 weeks into the season? We're
opening day for us.
We're done with the rain.
I feel like a school kid back when summer hits. It's like I'm out of school.
Yes.
It's time. I'm excited.
We are three adults that somehow have time to meet at 11:45 on a Thursday to talk about this. So, yeah, school is definitely out for all of us.
Yes.
But look, baseball season is always marked by rain to start the year. So we are through the rain. Some teams that we're going to talk about right now have played, like 3 games on the lowest end and like 7 or 8 on the highest end. So not everything is fully going, but we do know one thing, and that is Darren Lopez from El Camino cannot be stopped this season. 4 home runs in 4 games. The whiteboard will be more active this year than in previous years. We want to talk about every episode. We're going to bring you guys top performers, game balls, Dave's dingers, top 10, some shout-outs. Unlike the football season, we're going to probably not do a ton of games to watch this week, and here's in-depth breakdowns of them because baseball season's kind of rolling with games being every day, but we will at least remind you guys of marquee matchups because sometimes there's huge ones that you got to know. Let's start, though, with Bodie DeSilva and the first SBLive Sports and or whatever top 10 he would like to bring us, branded or otherwise. Dave, if you want to do dueling top 10s, and you guys can go 10, 10, 9, 9, 8, 8, or if you want to go 10 to 1, or if you just want to react to us, we can. But let's start with you, Bodie.
Yeah, and always to preface it with, this did come out on Monday, so I know there have been some results since then. With that said, Carlsbad, they started the year, I believe, at number 3 for me. 4 games in now. They've worked their way up. They've looked really good. I think they're deeper with pitching than I expected. They got their star Jet Kennedy back from the basketball court. So, yeah, they are a very, very good team. They are one of 3 San Diego teams that's going to be playing in the Boris Classic here in a couple weeks. So go test themselves against some Southern Section teams. And undefeated Carlsbad's up top for me right now. Cathedral Catholic, I had them moved up to number 2. They just got shut out yesterday by Granite Hills, so that will drop back down. But Cathedral moved up because they have that head-to-head win over La Costa Canyon, who comes in at number 3 for me. Torrey Pines, they started out the year at 8 for me. They're now 6-0. They've moved all the way up to number 4. Patrick Henry, they are there at number 5. Granite Hills does have the head-to-head over them this week. So Granite Hills, number 6, already with 2 top 5 wins this week, and we're only on Thursday. Rancho Bernardo, they are the team right now that's only played 1 game. They had to move some league stuff around because they are playing in that Boris Classic. St. Augustine there at number 8 for me. Eastlake, number 9, and Maranatha Christian, who did just lose their first game yesterday, they are there at number 10 for me in this week's poll.
Dave Ring?
Yeah, we're close. I mean, I'm going based on what I hear around the county and toughness of teams right now, in my opinion, is LCC at number 1, Carlsbad number 2, Torrey 3. Patrick Henry is, from what I hear around the county, their pitching is nasty. So I'm going to keep them on watch. They could be a number 1 team in the county this year. Granite Hills, Cathedral, Saints, Eastlake, you can't put San Marcos out of the mix. I'm going to put them at 9, and Montgomery always at number 10. Man, they're fierce. Even though I jabbed them last year, they pitch and hit. They win 1-run games, and then a couple notables: Santa Fe Christian and University City is hot. Man, watch out for the Saints, man. They hot.
There's a lot of teams that also probably, if we did an expanded teams to consider, it's up to still 16 or 17 in that top 10. So we're at a great part in the season where if you get 2 good wins at this point, you can still very much be in the running. I also like that once we get to baseball season, you always got to figure out a week or 2 in, all right, is this going to be a team that has one good permutation, like just when that one guy's on the mound, or is this just a team that's going to hit the ball really well and like they're going to be, and it seems like this year we are trending toward a lot of the better teams have multiple options on the mound and are really good on there's been some guys a la Darren Lopez that you sort of think, wow, if they hit that well, this team could be good no matter who's on the mound, and there could be some good permutations. I bring up home runs, though, because one of our absolute all-time show favorite segments is Dave's Dingers. Are we ready for week 1 edition of Dave's Dingers, or do you want to hold on to those?
Of course.
Hell yeah, brother.
I've been ready for weeks on this one. I've been just keeping tabs of who's been rolling, and like you said, man, is the board still up there? Mr. Darren Lopez, jeez, that guy's on fire. So don't forget, he's leading the county with 4, along with JT Bride, a transfer to Maranatha this year. Really stepping up. That lineup for Maranatha is solid. I think they're going to be a team that can compete with some of these higher division teams. And you're going to hear a lot about those hitters in the middle of that lineup, especially later in some of the game balls. I've got, I don't know if this is the right name. It's Talon Gardini.
Yeah, Talon Gardini.
Talon Gardini. There we go. Patrick Henry. He's one of the reasons why that team is going to put up some big numbers. He hits, man. Hank Hansen, La Jolla. This guy's hit 2 nukes. They were like laser beams to left field, man. They were impressive.
One of them a grand slam.
Right? That was nice. Keep watching the SD Prep Insider story, man. They keep coming up with all these dingers, dude.
You too, man.
Submit them.
We're on a roll. We're on a roll with dingers this year. I mean, we got a good system going. Phillip Jones, man, that guy is an absolute dude. He's over at Granite Hills. He's got 2 pumps. He's also hitting.
Oh, I haven't used that term yet this year. 2 pumps.
615. I mean, his average. I don't think it'll drop below 600 this year. He's going to go 600 with like.
Wait. We're putting that on the poll.
8 hits on the season, 7 extra base hits. He's got to keep that going.
That's the standard.
Okay, wait. I got to figure out which one of these devices is logged into the right account.
I think I saw slugging percentage was like.
What was it? Who are we talking about again?
Phillip Jones, Granite Hills.
Jones.
Yesterday, watched him get hit in his first at bat, steal a base, then come up home run. It was all the offense they needed. So, and I'll throw in another one. Jack Circuit grand slam yesterday for La Jolla Country Day. So I feel like early on in the season, it was pitching dominant. First game I went to, Cooper Walls from La Costa Canyon tossed a no-hitter. But I think slowly these hitters are coming around. Yeah. Feels like in the last couple of days, especially this week, we are seeing a ton of home runs. So
the bats are warming up. All right, Bodie, what else do you got, though? Or was that all the dingers? Or?
I got one more game dinger, yes. Yep. It's Gavin Vanderpool. He had freaking 2 piss missiles.
He's a lefty, too. He's got one of those nice, sweet swings out of the box.
Great bat flip I saw yesterday.
Flip, boom. So, yeah, I mean.
Wait. Can we take a small detour and just say 2 things? One, I am a peaceful person, so I ask this question in jest. But 2, is there a point at which a bat flip can yield you need to fight after the game? Like, is there a point of excessiveness? I asked this more out of the softball side. We saw Sophia Burmeister from Poway hit one and then flip her bat darn near to the moon. But if you're
offended, don't throw it there.
Okay, fair enough. That's all I needed to know. All right. That's it for the dingers. But, Bodie, you got game balls or shout-outs or highlights from this past week?
Yeah, just some shout-outs early on. Love to see the stolen bases. Justin Heffler won at St. Augustine, St. Mary's signee. He's already at 10 stolen bases through 6 games. That's super impressive there.
We're going to put this on the poll also. You just bring that up. Do you think Saints will ever run out of Hefflers?
We'll see. It seems like they keep coming up with them.
They can hit too, man.
Going through some of the strikeouts, I love seeing any guys that are nearing 2 strikeouts an inning. And Jack Clark from University City, 28 in 15 innings right there. Will Marangi, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, at Santa Fe Christian. That's 25 strikeouts in 18 innings so far for him.
With a 0 ERA, .000.
That usually plays. And then Will Sanford at Point Loma. He's the big senior this year, the two-way guy. He's going to play outfield when he's not pitching. Oregon signee, 23 strikeouts in 11 2/3 innings. So,
you talk about the big two-way guy this year. We talked to Nathan Hikes on the show. We talked to Talon Gardini on the show already this season. There's a couple of guys who are pitcher, like want to long-term be pitchers, but are very much like, no, I'm not just a pitcher only at this point, and which Hikes I think is a great generational change.
Yeah, he's an exception too, because for a guy like that, he's an absolute monster. He's huge. His mechanics are really, really good at the plate. I mean, he's an exception too.
Well, no, and you talk about like Talon Gardini. He wants to pitch at St. Mary's, and he's got 200 Ks, but he's also a 326 lifetime hitter and
got an amazing swing.
Yeah, and I like the fact that I feel like hyper specialization has started to infiltrate the younger side of sports, including at the high school level, and to see guys know that long term they're like, hey, most likely I want to or will be a pitcher, but I also want to put myself in a situation where, like, I'll get around to that. Like, until then, I still want to keep up there.
People forget about Paul Skeen's high school hitting stats. I mean, he absolutely mashed the ball at Air Force and then just turned into a PO, right? Some of these guys get an opportunity and they get multiple at-bats. They can actually absolutely put up numbers. So I think this is going to be a trend, like you said, moving forward.
Yeah, and one just to kind of mention on how valuable you can be, Gabe Camacho, we saw him for years at La Costa Canyon, freshman at Pacific. He's already done both, hit a couple home runs and has pitched as a true freshman. So make yourself valuable and
it's not
find a way to get on the field.
Something that you need to do till the pros. Yeah. It really is not something that you need to do until a Major League Baseball team says you cannot hit. You're going to hit your body weight in the pros. Focus on being a pitcher. Or you're not a good pitcher for this level, but you can still swing it a little. Like, until somebody sits you down and says you have no other option to be around the game of baseball than doing this, why not do both? And I just love to see that, not that football and baseball at the high school level are the exact same thing, but you see a lot of kids right now, like, they're quarterbacks from day one. They're not just, oh, we picked a really good football player to go run the quarterback for us. It's like they're quarterbacks from 7th grade on. And does that mean that they're limiting themselves from other football experiences? Maybe not. Maybe they wouldn't have been also a good safety, but maybe they would have been the kind of kid that would have had fun in high school. Definitely would not have gone to college on any of it, but would have been played some more defense. We welcome into the show for the first time this season the Point Loma what did we get into? The Point Loma czar of propaganda by the end of the season last year. The official Pointer intern, Kingsley, is back. She is not on camera, so she made a terrible entrance there. She stopped right outside the camera.
And if you thought the intern was a person, it's not.
Oh, there we go. The intern's head has shown.
The intern is actually an amazing dog.
Yes, the intern is a 3-year-old Belgian Malinois that has an affinity for showing her butt on camera and not her face. We will get around to her, though, with some more of our Game Balls top performers. What do we still have from this week, Dave?
I got Game Balls.
There we go.
Yes,
hi, Kingsley.
My fave. Nothing like a podcast without a visit from the intern.
The Point Loma czar of propaganda. Go
Love
Pointers.
This. All right. So
she will be wearing a Will Sanford jersey by the end of the year.
Like I said, UC, University City is hot. Nathan Ty, 10 RBIs in 7 games. Showing some love to those guys over there. Jaden Parker. This guy's going to be special. He's a young athlete that I think is going to do big things moving forward. 10 runs. He's got the ability to be kind of a 5-tool player, in my opinion. Very athletic, can throw, run, hit for power. Charlie Morse, Maranatha, 11 hits, 7 games. Man, this guy's leading off for them now. He's also a transfer that came to Maranatha with the hopes of getting a lot of playing time, and he has taken advantage of that. 478 batting average. I expect big things out of Charlie. I think he plays center field. One of the most athletic center fielders you'll see. Angel Laya, Eastlake, 10 hits already, 3 doubles. He had a mammoth blast the other day. Man, it was impressive. This guy's only a junior. He reminds me of Marcelo Mayer.
Woo!
Plays center field, though. We will be talking about him his senior year on draft day, in my opinion. He's as athletic as they come.
Here's my new threshold for which I am saying baseball players here in San Diego, will he or won't he be will we play as him in the show within 5 years? That's my new
prospect card and kind of work up from there.
Athleticism.
But because we've started to have that now. There's been a Waldachuk kid or two. There's been some stuff like that rolling through that I now am like, hey, if the dude's a dude here in San Diego, we can just dub him as somebody that we'll be playing as in the show within 5 years. Yes. So you're giving him that level of...
Mayer will be in the show. I have a feeling Angel will be that type of impact player as far as athleticism goes. And as well as like some other players on the East Lake team. They really solid this year.
So they're back.
The Libid brothers always doing things over there. I mean, I just wanted to shout out some guys on day one. So happy to see everyone doing well. No rain affecting the games.
No more rain.
Boom.
Rain, stay away.
Let's roll.
Bodie, what else you got?
Yeah, I'll give a shout out. Matthew Kelly at Carlsbad, freshman, already committed to Miami. And I think what's really impressive, through 18 plate appearances so far, he's yet to strike out, hitting 500 with 4 walks. So clearly living up to the billing as one of the top freshmen in the country. So
we'll put this on the poll as well. At SD Prep Insider on Twitter, on Instagram is where you can find all the polls. Will Matthew Kelly from Carlsbad strike out in his high school career? Right now,
he's got about 200 more plate appearances to figure out. But he's when you're hitting 500, on base of 611 so far. Not much to really complain about there. And really good left side of the infield there they've got with him and Jet Kennedy and guys that will both be returning.
One of the shout outs that we have to give is not necessarily a player, but a coach, James Davis, 500 career wins. 500 is a pretty elite number. Bodie, can you put that into the context of the upper echelon and just how hard it is to get 500 wins?
Yeah, I know Coach Machado at La Costa Canyon got to 500 maybe 2-3 seasons ago, and he's the only coach La Costa's ever had, so clearly he's been there, that would be 27, 28 years now, and there's only been one coach in California history to ever get to 1,000 wins, so that kind of shows you that 500 to 900.
That's not Blaylock, is it? Where did Blaylock
get?
Was he at 7?
900? Yeah, I think low 900s.
The Rancho Bernardo coach, for everybody
correct.
That's not an off the top of their heads knows
yeah,
names of old
there was a coach up in...
I just became Adam Paul, didn't I?
A coach up in the southern section last week, I believe, just passed Coach Blaylock for second all time. But yeah, 500 is a huge deal. I was at that game yesterday, kind of caught by surprise that it happened that way. The players were dumping the whole ice bucket on him after they had a banner ready to go. So nice way to do it with kind of a shutout on the mound.
Are we sick of Granite Hills at this point this year? Are we like, get out of here, Granite? You won football. Stop being good at everything.
To me, it's
no. We're good with Granite Hills.
Probably too low on them in baseball, especially seeing what.
Oh, go figure. Bodie DeSilva doesn't like Granite Hills or doesn't respect them enough
to shut out Cathedral. That's a lineup full of hitters.
And they're doing that. They threw Rowan Haynes yesterday, a lefty that signed with Seattle. But I think what I didn't realize is how much pitching Granite has, because they got another transfer, Luke Bailey, that'll be eligible at the end of this 30-day window. He's a Santa Barbara commit. Between that, Chandler Henry, Brendan Lewis, they've got some big time
show favorite Brendan Lewis. All right, Dave, what else do you got on the list of things to talk about this week? Is that everything on your rundown, Bodie? Is that everything on your rundown?
Yeah, we'll see. What I love early on is, unlike football, basketball, you get so many top 5, top 10 matchups.
Baseball.
You don't have to wait.
Baseball goes hard out the gate.
You don't have to wait till week 8. We're going to get a Lincoln Cathedral football game. Like baseball early on, they're all in the best tournaments.
Okay,
they're all
so this is why I
other.
keep hitting it over the head that this is what we're best at, and this is why people need to understand why we're so much better at this than every other sport that we do. Is because exactly what Bodie said. A high school baseball season is what, somewhere between 20 and 30 games, depending on how many.
Yeah. High 20s. High 20s prior to playoffs.
Okay, sure. Somewhere around the 25 mark. Of those 25, teams that are our open division teams will play a grand total of 2.5 tomato cans out of those 25 games. Teams that are in our D3, D4 will play 5 or 6 of those open and D1 teams and be somehow vaguely you'll get Hilltop taking on an open team or something like that. You'll get
they start the year at La Costa and get no hit. That'll only help them.
Yeah, exactly. No hit, but you would not ever in football see Lincoln Grace who to pick a random middle of the pack D3 school.
Otay.
Lincoln would not play Otay. unless Sammy Peronotta came back to drag Lincoln players with him. But that's what I'm saying. Like, you wouldn't get that anywhere. But baseball, some of these smaller squads are like, what's up? Let's roll the ball out there and let's go with it. And that's why this is amazing that by the end of the year, we actually, like, the 8 teams that make open and these other teams that make these top slots are teams that are really well battle-tested.
They've seen each other, like, in some cases a couple times. And like Eastlake and Steel Canyon, they lost to them last week. They played them again. They just beat them.
There's nowhere to hide is what I'm basically trying to say. There's no work in the numbers.
It's not just in the tournaments. I mean, the way that they move these leagues around. I know the North County Coastal League just reshuffled again, so Poway's out, Del Norte's in. Like, you look at the top of that league, and it's Carlsbad, La Costa, Torrey, RB. Like, good luck getting through that gauntlet of teams. Like, if you can get 9-10 wins in league, that's probably going to win you the league. So.
Yep. All right, last thing I want to close on before we get out of here is just if you guys had to say one either team or person that's been the biggest surprise or most pleasant surprise or biggest shock or anything like that out the gate. And it can be someone that we've already talked about. It can be, I think Maranatha comes pretty close to that for me because last year felt like they might have lost a couple of seniors that were going to not, leave them ruined by graduation, but maybe bring them back down to being a decent team, but they seem pretty much on top again as Natha Nasty. I think that there's the one guy from Montgomery has thrown two shutouts so far this season. Maybe just in general, the amount of no-hitters is my surprise, but I have filibustered hopefully long enough for at least Bodie to give me an answer.
I'll add one first. Yeah, shout out to Coach Hermosillo at Montgomery. I know this is going to be his last year, so hopefully they can do everything they can to make it a special one for him. I will say Carlsbad. I had Carlsbad high to start the year. I believe it was 3 or 4.
But moving from 4 to 1 out the gate.
They're number 1 now. I saw them shut out Cathedral at home. Like, they went and took care of business against RB 9-0 in that opener. Like, they're deep on pitching, and that lineup is very good, very experienced, some 4-year guys in there, some young talent. Like, this is a Carlsbad team. I mean, I know last year they started out 13-0, so you can't really say that they've come out of nowhere, but like, second year for Coach DeYoung there, they clearly have something building.
Yeah, they also they might be again as ownership to the biggest celebrity endorser and fan that we have right now in Jake Savicki out there rooting for them. Dave Ring, what do you got?
My guys over at Bonita Vista are 4-1 to start the year. I've also got, you got to shout out UC. They're 6-1. And
yes, you get the right to shout out your school, bro. Let's go.
And Mater Dei Catholic.
You didn't go there.
6-1 to start the year. A couple teams that are, having a really impressive start, and you got to give them credit, man. That's hard to do. Come out the gate, everything's rolling. It's a good feeling.
I want to close out on this, unless you guys have anything else. The sentences that they just said there also is part of why baseball just warms my heart, because after taking a little bit of a beating all year, the South Bay comes back with a freaking vengeance in spring. Look, hey, you can be like, you don't get it. You never come south of the 8. I do. My wife's a Hilltop alum. I've spent plenty of time down there. I get it. Sweetwater won a football championship. I'm not saying that the South Bay doesn't do anything, but a lot of hard L's taken by a lot of South Bay schools in a lot of sports to the bigger schools. And then baseball season rolls around and they're like, yo, let's talk. Bonita, Eastlake, Hilltop, Montgomery, a lot of really good programs down there. So I am happy, as it always makes me smile a little bit to see all parts of the county coming out for baseball like that. Until we see you guys next week, I'll remind you, download the SBLive Sports app for everything Bodie so you can support him. Dave, you can be followed at DR Hitting, but you also got a lot of stuff that you are plugging every single week. Anything that you want to give an additional shout out in terms of how people can find you, how they can find your products? You're wearing a Rake baseball hat. You've become a bit of a brand NASCAR. So floor is yours as we close out.
Yeah, just follow me at DR Hitting on Instagram. I keep everything there. That's where everything's mostly updated, and got a new facility this year. Just moved into a new nice facility. Got 3 cages, so I'm rolling there. I'm loving it. If you want to come by, it's in Miramar. Come check me out.
There you go. Go down. Go. Also follow DR Hitting. When you see his number, you'll be like, wow, it's a lot bigger than all the football shows here in San Diego. So maybe baseball really is the biggest thing. Until then, we'll remind you guys, all little Sage Creek in the big time is always good for you. Talk to you soon.